Welcome back to part 5 of the Civic Type R build. In today's episode, we want to get working on the front end of the car. So that's getting the headlight on, the hood aligned with the headlight, and the fender as well. So we're gonna have to take off the wheel, the hood, and then take the fender out of the box and get everything bolted on, straightened out, pull whatever needs to be pulled, and get everything perfect so the gaps are all even. Alright, so we got the hood off, got the hinges off, got the new hinges back on it. So now we got the new hood right over here in this box. So we're going to open it up and then after place it on top of the new hinges so we can start aligning all the panels. Alright, we got the new hood on from Honda. It's looking very nice. A lot better than the damaged one, of course. So our next step is going to be digging into the new fender. And then after that, we're going to see if we can get this mounted on here just to get these gaps all figured out. So let's go and unbox this. Alright, here's the new Oem Fender right there. It's looking super nice. So this one's a little bit different than the regular Civic ones because it has this little vent right here. And the crash fender, it's actually perfectly fine, so we didn't order that piece, so I'll just throw it on from the one that actually came with the car. I'll just throw it on after we're done with paint and we'll be good to go. So our next step is to see if any of the tabs are bent. So like I can see right here, this right here is a little bit bent. So we're gonna have to hit that up a little bit with the hammer so it's gonna be nice and straight mounting point for the fender and it's gonna look nice and sweet. So let's do that. Alright, what we just did in that last time lapse was we hit this bracket that mounts, it's a mounting point for the fender. We just hit that up with a hammer, got it all straightened out so it'll be even surface to mount the fender on. What else did we do? We took off this bracket right over here. It was a little bit bent up, as you can see. We got a new one of those inside the car. We got it from Honda. So our next step will be to pull this out with the frame puller. So we'll get this all straightened out as well. And then after we do that, we'll be able to mount the bracket that goes right here. So we're able to mount the headlight on. After the headlight, then we can move on to the fender. Bit of an update. We got the fender on and also we got the headlight on as well. We got this piece all straightened now with the frame puller. Put some black paint on it because it got a little bit chipped up. Don't want it to rust. after putting on the fender, we got all the gaps aligned, so now it's all looking nice and even, just like OEM. And then after putting on the headlight, we got that pretty much aligned. Now I'm gonna put on this upper eyelid grill piece. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, and make sure that aligns with the hood as well. After we do that, the next step is just gonna reverse everything, take everything off. Got part of that grill on, it's looking nice. All the lines and the fitment is looking real good as well, matching up great with the other side. So it's starting to all come together. So next step, like I said earlier, is going to be to take off this fender again. So let's do that. Alright, so we got the fender off, as you saw in the time lapse. The next step for the fender is going to be painting in the inside of it, so it's not that matte, but that shiny finish. And we're going to do that for the hood as well. So the next thing I want to do, if you follow me, is put the interior all back together where we did all this quarter panel work, just to clean things up again. And we don't need it all apart anymore, so let's do that. Alright, so we got most of the interior put back together. Our next step that I want to do is get this dent right here out of the door. So what we're going to do is we're going to weld on some nails, I'm not sure what they're called, and then after we're going to pull them out just to get the flat surface. Then after that we're going to Bondo it and make it nice and pretty and get it ready for paint. So let's get to it. Alright, so we got the door all shaped out. It's looking nice and smooth for the most part. Our next step is going to be bondoing the door. And as well as the door, we're going to be bondoing right here as well, where we've cut the quarter panel, and also down here. So I'm going to be just sanding around it with some 180 grit sandpaper, and then we're going to be laying down that Bondo. Alright, so we got all the Bondo on the car. It's already dried, so ready to be sanded. And then the next step after sanding, we'll see if we have to add any more layers of Bondo to these spots. So let's start the long process of sanding all of this. Bondo work is all done. Didn't want to bore you guys with too much of that footage. It's very repetitive and takes a good amount of time, so everything's all smooth. And the next step that I'm going to do is going to be sanding surrounding areas with 320 just to get the smooth surface and get it ready for some primer. So after that, we're going to be laying some primer on it. Thank you so much for watching this video. We got a good amount of stuff done on the car today. We got the frame pulled in the front, we got the Bondo all figured out, and put the primer on. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.